Razaban here for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm delighted to have with me on Zoom today the undefeated Mr. Joe Fournier. Joe, what's happening?
Not much, mate. Just chilling at my house here in Mykonos. Show you a little bit of the view. Just taking it easy. Chef's cooking up some food, and we're just enjoying a bit of sunshine. How's it going in Slough?
Do you want to see my view? It's
I grew
wet
up in
and it's raining.
I grew up in Hounslow. Trust me, I know.
Oh, you're in Mykonos, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Good to hear. Good to hear. How are things? How's everybody?
Everything's good, mate. Yeah, just been a good season here, and my business is here. And obviously the news of the fight a couple of days ago, which has been a long time in the making, but I had David here, and we somehow ended up fighting. So that's an interesting one.
Let's roll this back. So I see this comms come out that says David Haye is coming out of retirement. I'm like, whoa. Then I'm seeing David Haye is going to be fighting Joe Fournier, and I'm now completely baffled. So how did this fight come together, first of all?
Well, as you know, David used to manage me, right? And I learned a lot from him. But obviously, I was there throughout all of his injuries. And, from the day I met David, when he fought the Cobra, to then his second fight against Bellew, he was just a different fighter just because of age and injuries. I mean, a snapped Achilles, snapped bicep, slipped discs, back surgery, every surgery you can imagine. So one thing is that we're both alpha males. So in my world and business, I'm kind of a world champion, should you say. And in his world, he's a world champion, but I was trying to go to his world. So I was always like Batman and Robin. But that like Robin kind of always wanted to be Batman. So as time's gone by, I've always thought like, oh, what would ever happen? Like it's like big brother, little brother syndrome. You're always in the shadow and there's that insecurity about it. Not insecurity, but just, you want to challenge yourself. You want to beat your big brother at basketball or football, cricket or whatever. So when he came here on holiday, we're here, we're having a good time. We're drinking a bit of wine with dinner, with a little group of us. And now, because he's retired, I'm kind of more current in the boxing situation because I'm fighting regularly. You know how it is. It's like world champions are forgotten really quickly sometimes just because they're not stayed on telly or whatever. So people were like, oh, who'd win between you two? So he just chuckles. I'm kind of like thinking, I think I'd win this, like now. He ain't punched a bag in 4 years. He's living the good life. He's retired. He's got a mansion in the countryside. He's on holiday, Costa Rica for 3-4 months. Like he's still ripped because that's his DNA, but he ain't exactly been training, sparring, doing what he's got to do. So taking into account my mathematical business brain, I take into account his way more experience, way better and skilled, he's not going to be nervous, right, coming into a fight with me, is he, when he's fought, Mormek and, Valuev and, Macronelli, and, real world champions. And I'm seen as his little bro, right? So he's kind of so he has a big advantage there. But I've never been injured. I've never really taken a lot of punches. I am in kind of fight shape relatively, although I've had a month in Mykonos. And I just thought, I'd win this. I think I'd win this. So bit of Dutch courage. I say, you know what? I think I'd win this. So he kind of entertains me. And then the next day we're sitting down. I'm like, I was being serious. He was like, come on, Jack, shut up. I'm like, no, bro, I think I'd actually win this. He's like, are you kidding me right now? I'm like, no. I'm like, think about it. When was the last time you threw a jab? He's like, Joe, I've boxed for 30 years. Have you lost your mind? I'm like, we should do this. Like laughing, but kind of serious. And he's now getting a bit agitated, although he's smiling because that's his personality. And he's like, all right, we'll go to the gym. We'll just do 4 rounds. And in 4 rounds, it's over for you with sparring gloves on. I'm like, fuck that. I'm like, we've done loads of rounds together. Because I used to be his sparring partner when he would start camp, just to toughen up his face and speed and a bit of agility stuff. Then he'd get the big boys in. So I kind of, towards the end, especially before Bellew 2, I was really like catching him. And I was thinking, I was like, hey, what's that gonna do? I'm like, I was like, if you're willing to fight me, I'll call my pal Ryan Kavanagh at Triller. And I reckon they'd like this because obviously they're becoming really prominent in the boxing world. They're doing a lot of shows, and they're kind of doing legends as well now. So it's kind of is in the wheelhouse. So I call Ryan. He loves it because he obviously knows the power of British boxing and the heritage that England has in boxing. He was like, "This is great. Let's do it." So I called David. I'm like, "David, sign the contract." And he had no choice. He had to sign it. Like he's been a bit salty ever since. He's like, I called him the other day. I'm like, what gloves are we gonna use? Like, I don't care, do whatever you want. Like now he's like that. So it's really on. And I'm excited about it because that's kind of what I wanted it to be. I wanted to because from my standpoint, I could have sat home for the rest of my life as a 50-year-old man going, I could have beat David Hale. I swear to God, I could have beat him. He weren't that good anyway. But now I'm actually gonna try and see what happens.
You've obviously fought at light heavy. David's obviously fought a lot heavier. Obviously, when you retired, it was at heavyweight. He's known for how brutal power, especially at cruiserweight. Now, when you get older, I know you lose agility, you might lose timing, you might lose speed. Something you don't lose is your power. Like you kind of maintain that power. David was in one punch knockout artist. How do you cope with someone like David's power, considering he's a lot heavier than you?
I think it's trying not to get punched with that one knockout punch. And as you said, it's timing. So there's some great big power punches. I remember when Billy Joe fought the French guy, the Canadian guy, what's his name?
David Lemieux.
It was a huge, yeah, Lemieux was a huge punch power. And, but but Billy Joe never got hit. So it's irrelevant. I think Bellew had a good game plan against David on reflection and hindsight, which was if I walk into David in the first 4 rounds, I'm going to get flattened because he's going to be fresh. That punch power, that adrenaline, all that explosive energy is going to land on my chin, and it's going to be a good night for anyone, heavyweight, flyweight, whatever. But I think if I can get him, bearing in mind, there's only 4 weeks before the fight, right? So he ain't got a lot of time to really get in fight shape. If anything, I'm a bit better shape. I think if I get him into the later rounds, which I will have to skip around and stay elusive, which isn't my style, but I don't really have a choice when the guy's bigger, that much bigger than me. I think you'll start to see cracks. I think those injuries will start to niggle, the Achilles, the shoulder, the bicep. It will start to cramp up under the lights, dehydration, nervousness. That's the theory, right? The other point is, let's just stand in the ring and duke it out. And he wins because he's got 30 pounds on me. You know what I mean? So I got to go for his weaknesses, which is reliability, which is maybe I got a bit of speed on him. And also, yes, like you said, stay away from that one knockout power. If I keep it at that long distance where he's really comfortable, I'm also not going to do very well. So I have to be out of distance or inside. I can't be in that middle distance because he's too good a counter puncher. And that if we just start exchanging like that, I'm going to end up, he's going to catch me, isn't he? So I have a game plan. I've thought about it for years. What would I do? And yeah, you're right. He's still a brutally powerful guy. You see it in his pictures on Instagram. It's a bit offensive, really. I've had to not look at his Instagram anymore. Post another blood clot picture of his abs. Shit, there's me training every day trying to look like
that. Joe, he put a statement out and he said something, and I repeat close to the words. He said he wants to prove a point against his billionaire buddy, and it's going to be a brutal lesson for you in boxing.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that David was never shy of confidence. So, so he's obviously not going to say, I'm really worried about Joe's power or his finesse. He thinks, it's an easy fight, obviously, for him. And so he should. He's a cruiserweight unified champion, heavyweight world champion. Only him and Evander Holyfield have ever done that. So I'm nervous as hell. Like, don't get me wrong. It's not like I think, this is going to be a walkover. But, there's times in life in business, you start a company and you put your balls on the line, you try and make it work. And if it doesn't work, you're bankrupt. And if it does work, you win. And this is how it feels right now. It's like, oh shit, the contract's actually signed, and now I got to go out and put my money where my mouth is. But these are the points in life where if I do win, what happens next, right? And that's such a big upside that I'm gonna take the gamble. And I genuinely looking you square in the eyes. I genuinely believe I can beat David Haye and shock the world and win by knockout. I'm not trying to outpoint him because I won't be able to, because he's too skilled, he's too accurate, he's too much ring craft. He's been to 8 rounds millions of times, right? Like he knows what he's doing. So for me to outpoint him will be difficult. The only way I win is by knockout. So that is my strategy: is to get him tired, start to see the cracks, the angles, and then try and put him away. And he said it himself on television. He said Joe Fournier punches harder than Tony Bellew. Now Tony Bellew's knocked him out twice, and that's just fact. So if I have bigger punching power and he meant it, and he wasn't just flattering my ego, building up my brand whilst I was his fighter, then my two good things I have is a good chin and I punch hard. And so that's kind of what negates what he's good at.
Joe, so
you see what I'm saying? So
yeah, I get what you're saying, but is this two friends, successful friends who've got ego and want to better each other? It's not really actual beef, is it? It's not like you hate David and David hates you. You're still friends, right?
Yeah, like we haven't fallen out. It's a bit like, when do you have any brothers?
Yeah.
So like when you're kids and your brother slaps you and then you slap him harder and you end up in a real fight. It kind of was the verbal equivalent of that. And now David's just he's too alpha male, right? He's like Tony Bellew said. He said he will always return back to type. He is that kind of lion gorilla personality. So as soon as I punch him in the face, you think he's gonna go, oh, that's Joe, my old pal. He's gonna want to clean me out. And then like Audley Harrison was one of his best mates. And look what he did to him. So I don't really think that, like, put it this way, I'm going to Mexico and I'm going to train every day and I'm going to spar and I'm going to take this like a real fight. And there is no friendship. I'm trying to knock David out. So it was that, that's how it started, like two mates just winding each other up. But now I know, like, it's not like I told you. I spoke to him once the contract was signed. It was like, good luck. What gloves do you want to use? Just do whatever you want. Whereas, like, he used to pick my gloves for me and tell me, oh, you should use these punches gloves. That now he's like, oh, you're on your own. I taught you what you need to know. Now do what you got to do. So he's definitely not he's not trying to like be nice about this. And I know he isn't, because every round that goes by, he will be upset he hasn't knocked me out yet. Right? He ain't trying to, there ain't no overtime. So I know he's gonna come out to try and knock me the hell out, get his range, and then put me away. I know that's what he's done to everyone. So why is it gonna change now? Like every fight he's won, he's like, he didn't think, even when he came back and fought maybe, some guys on his comeback fights like the Mori and the Cobra, he didn't come out and go, oh, let me get the rounds in. That's not David's personality. David's personality is, let me come and just clean you out and go on holiday.
What's mad, Joe, is that
I know that's coming.
He obviously managed you. I remember a number of years ago when you both got that kind of that deal with Dave, and you signed a lot of fighters, Joe Joyce, Case Ashfaq at the time. I remember seeing you both going and buying Rolls Royces together, and now you're sharing a ring together. It's just mad.
I know. It hasn't really sunk in either, because, like, for me, if I beat David, I can genuinely call out Mayweather. Because if Logan Paul can fight Mayweather, who's not fought anyone of note and never beat anyone of note, why can't I? Bear in mind, Logan Paul's a heavyweight, and I'm closer to Mayweather's weight, right? So there's no reason why I can't do that. Now, my next fight could be 10, 12 million. That's the maddest thing about it. So I got so much riding. I want to win so badly that I'm going to go in and just see him as a stepping stone to something that could end up landing me a world title shot and skipping the queue. Because beating David gets you, I'm pretty sure some of the governing bodies would want me to be ranked. When he came back, they put him straight in number 3. So if I beat that guy, why not? So there's so much riding on it, potential upside, that it's kind of like 100-to-1 shot, but I win 1,000,000-to-1, if that makes sense.
Wow. I saw some reports, I don't know if you can talk about or clarify, about 6 million purse for yourself. Not that money's an issue.
Well, you know, got bills to pay, man. These houses ain't cheap. It was a very, you know, it's a very, as you know, I never did boxing for financial reward necessarily, but now these numbers, now when you're fighting these big fights, you know, David Haye's a pay-per-view star, it definitely does make a difference. And like I said, if I can win it, the numbers could go up and up and up. And this is, you know, I'm 38. I don't have many more chances to really prove myself. So this is a big deal for me, and I'm going to take it really seriously. And like, jokes aside, you know, I want us both to leave the ring healthy, but I want to win in style and really do something special with it. And I've always said it is like, you're from Slough, I'm from Hounslow. I still talk to my mates from Hounslow. I still go to Hounslow. So it's like, just to even, like, I was David's fan, and now I'm fighting him. So you don't understand, like, for me, the pride. Like, my mom texts me, she's like, ain't that guy that you say is so good, why are you fighting him? Like, my mom's like shitting herself, you know what I mean? So it's like bringing it all back, all the razzmatazz, all the money, all that's real. But also, like, the realness is just that my mates are like, bro, we watched David knock out Enzo Macronelli, like, super hard. Are you sure you want to do this? Like, there's an element of fear to face such a prominent, powerful champion. And I would be lying to say I'm not going to be nervous walking in the ring. I'll be, you know, shitting myself. But that's the thing. You either step up to the plate and you do it, or you pretend that you wanted to do it. And, you know, say your mates that go to the pub and say, oh, I would have had him. It's not me. I want to try it. Whatever happens, you know, whatever happens, hopefully we come out the ring healthy. But I'm going to give it my all. And I think I'm going to win. I feel confident I'm going to win. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. And, you know, Breeders Prescott went in to fight Amir Khan, and he had no chance. Yeah. And look what happened. He beat one of the best boxers out of Great Britain ever, right? Amir Khan. I'm a big fan of him. So it's not always the best boxer wins. It's the best boxer that won in that moment, right? You would agree with that. There's some big upsets. That's what, if it was always a favorite, then there would be no sports. And then you got other scenarios like Canelo when he fought Rocky Fielding, and that went exactly to the script. And, you know, and I'm not trying to be Rocky Fielding anytime soon. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where it's at for me. It's like, I'm going to take the chance, and I hope that I can do the unthinkable. I mean, how many people from light heavyweight, Roy Jones beat Ruiz, right? Went up from light heavyweight to heavyweight, and Spinks beat Muhammad Ali. So imagine that I beat David. It's kind of like, not the same because he's not a current champion, but that's the feat that I'm trying to beat. They're the people I'm trying to emulate. So just to even tell your grandkids, yo, your granddad did that. It's just such a big deal. Oscar De La Hoya fighting on the card. Like, I grew up watching all of Oscar's fights. He's one of the biggest legends in the history of boxing. I'm fighting on the main card with Oscar De La Hoya. You know what that means to a kid that was a dishwasher in Hounslow at Lahore Karate? So
good food,
all of the extra stuff. Oh yeah, it's the best curry out there. Trust me.
So Joe, win, lose, or draw, still friends with David afterwards? Still buddies? Still going to go on holidays together?
I hope so. I mean, look, I'm a really competitive guy, and I'm like, you know, like, God forbid if he gets injured or the Achilles snaps, I ain't trying to, like, take it easy. I'll probably be way more ruthless than Tony Bellew was, to be honest. If he snaps his Achilles, I ain't going 5 more rounds, bro. I'm jumping on him, and I'm gonna put him away. And I hope it does. I hope I don't win by injury, right? I hope there isn't. I want to win fair and square. I don't want it to be, because that could sour the friendship. You know what I mean? I want to win. Whoever wins, best man wins. Like, just take it. I want him to come at me. I want him to train. I want him to go full power. I want him to try and knock me out. And I want to mix it up. And at least because this is about me and him. You know what I mean? It's about our pride. I think I'm better than you. Let's do it.
What about your friends? I know you've got a close circuit of friends, lawyers, people, other fighters, trainers, managers, PAs, etc. You've got a lot of people that are associated to both of you. Are they kind of split on whose side they're taking?
It's been funny, actually, because a lot of people, I have to say, a lot of people think he's going to kill me. I'm not going to lie. Not many people. Like, I saw a girl I used to hang out with, like, privately, commenting on his thing like, "Oh, this is gonna be great." I didn't see her commenting on my thing or wish me luck. So I think now that we see all the snakes coming out the grass supporting him over me, he's definitely getting the more support. Like, luckily, I don't have Twitter, because if I did, I'd be probably like in a slight depression right now, because I heard there's something getting slayed all over the place. But I'm used to it by now. I pay no attention.
Finally, how does it end on the night?
I think a 6, 7, 8 stoppage by me. I think I'll catch him, and I think he's not going to expect the power. Honestly, I think I've got stronger too, and I think that the weight difference, it's just going to come out faster. You know what I mean? And I think as long as I stay away from his jab, and I stay away from kind of like, where he skips back, fires back in. I know that's what he does, right? I've seen it. I've been around it. As long as I can stay away from that big right hand and just circle away from it, and get him tired and pressure and a lot of feints, get him thinking about something. I'm giving away 4 inches and about 8 inches wingspan, right? So I got to be tricky and different and awkward, and that's always been my thing. I'm awkward, right? Because I'm not a boxer. Great Britain amateur. I'll come at awkward angles. So I think I'll see him tired, and I think he's going to get caught by a looping shot from me. The irony, a haymaker to the haymaker. That's how it ends.
Well,
Round
Joe,
6.
we'll look forward to this build up. I'm sure there'll be a lot of back and forth between you two as we get closer to that date in September. Wish you all the best with your preparation and training, and I'm sure we'll catch up in due course.
We'll have a curry when I come back.
100%. Joe Fournier, IFL TV, thank you very much.
Take care, buddy. Bye-bye.